This video will be useful for those immigrants who are planning to run a real business in Montenegro. There are probably about 10% of such people. So today we'll talk about how to withdraw money from your company. If money comes into your company, that is, if you've earned some amount, you can't just transfer it to an individual's account. You can only withdraw it either as dividends. Dividends in Montenegro are withdrawn once a year in the first quarter of the year following the reporting year, or as a salary. Salary can be withdrawn every month. Let's get started. I'll start with dividends. This part is simpler. When before withdrawing dividends, you need to pay profit tax. The profit tax in Montenegro is differentiated depending on the amount of profit. There is a tax of 9, 12, and 15%. If the company earned less than 100,000 euros, 9% is paid. If it earned more than 100,000 euros, 12% is paid on the amount exceeding 100,000 euros. But if the company earned more than 1.5 million euros, 15% is paid on the amount exceeding 1.5 million. And accordingly, the profit tax is deducted, and then you decide to transfer either the entire profit or part of it to an individual's account. On the amount you transfer, an additional 15% is paid. So, for example, if your annual profit does not exceed 100,000 euros, then you pay 9% profit tax, and from the remaining amount, another 15% when distributing dividends. Taxes and salaries are more complicated. I won't go into how salaries are calculated right now. I have a separate, very detailed video on that topic. There I show the entire salary calculation algorithm. I'll just focus on the main points. Taxes and salaries, first of all, are differentiated. That is, the minimum tax applies if the net salary, that is, the amount paid out to the employee, does not exceed 591 euros and 50 cents. If it exceeds that amount, an increased coefficient starts to apply. With a low salary, that is up to 591 euros and 50 cents, the tax losses are roughly the same as when distributing dividends. Accordingly, the most advantageous option, if you have savings and can wait until the next year when you will receive dividends, is to pay yourself a relatively small salary up to 591 euros and 50 cents and receive the rest of the money as dividends. But if that's not possible, if you don't have savings, then you'll need to pay yourself a higher salary. And now, once again, I won't be giving detailed information on how taxes and salaries are calculated, since I've already made a separate video on that topic. But I will show, using some examples, what the amount of taxes will be for different salaries. Let's take a look. We've prepared a form like this, which automatically calculates the salary. It's just easier this way. Now I'm going to calculate about 10 examples. It's easier to show it like this. Here is the net salary. That is a certain amount that I've entered as an example. And here are the total expenses for the salary, meaning what the employer will pay for the salary plus taxes. That is, in this case, in this example, 450 is the salary, 500 and 691 euros are taxes. So to find out exactly how much the taxes will be, you need to subtract the net salary from the gross salary, and we get that the person will receive 450 euros in hand. Out of this amount, about 119 euros will be taxes. Let's enter some other amounts to see what happens. As I mentioned to you today, the most advantageous taxes are minimal. The taxes and salaries are minimal until the net salary reaches 591 euros and 50 cents. Let's see how much for such an amount will be paid in total from the employer's account. Let's take a look. 748 euros are paid from the employer's account. So once again, you can take a calculator and subtract. It turns out to be 156 euros. Well, about 156 euros, which is purely taxes. Let's try entering a different amount. For example, let's say you want to receive 1,200 euros net each month. Let's see, the net salary plus taxes amounts to this sum, 1,670 euros and 33 cents. We can take some other one. For example, if you want 1,500, no problem. 2,140 euros will be withdrawn from the company's account. Let's enter a few more examples to get a better idea. 2,000. Here, 2,922 including taxes. And probably the last example, 1,000, I think no one will need more than that. There you go, the taxes will be just under 1,500. But I think everything is pretty clear here. So that's how it works. The higher the salary, the higher the tax on it. Once again, I want to emphasize that it's optimal to pay yourself a small salary up to 591 euros and 50 cents and withdraw the rest of the money as dividends. This will simply be more advantageous. You'll pay less tax this way. Goodbye, everyone.